Previously on Coruscant Nights.
I've called upon the two of you. I have a special mission, so to speak. A diplomatic mission, as it were. Now, at this point, you're both well aware of the battle above and below. It's been a hard few days for Coruscant. These separatists, they've really wrought this city to its core. That's why we're so glad to have newly appointed leadership. This will most certainly usher in a new era for Coruscant and for our galaxy at its whole. Now, with all the fighting, there's been a fair amount of damage to the city. Crashed ships. There's been riots. There's been turmoil in general. The clones have been dispatched to take care of this, and they're doing a great job. Why we've brought you here today is regarding one of these crashed vessels from the Battle of Coruscant. A Trade Federation cruiser has crashed on the planet. The vessel is in working order, we believe, but still occupied by hostiles. The hostiles have taken hostages as well. Your mission, to put it simply, is to negotiate with these hostiles. We'd like them removed, and we'd like our hostages returned to the planet. These are citizens of Coruscant, respected individuals that cannot be threatened in this way.
Choose your words wisely. They may come back to haunt you.
Are the hostages clearly defined in their roles as hostages? Like, are they all sitting in a circle, or are they just kind of milling about?
It's kind of hard for you to tell right now because they're intentionally keeping this area dark for the purpose of avoiding clone surveillance. I'm gonna flip a dark side, and a shot is fired from the clone barricade, and it just makes it through this door as it's closing, and it nails Gunky on one of his shoulders. He goes spinning heels over head and lands on his chest.
Oh dear.
Oh no! This is the opposite of diplomacy, and I...
Miss Smyysk, do you have any medical training? Is there a doctor in the bay?
Let's get him to the... Do you have a med bay here? Someone who's not Gunky.
Duros comes up, and the Duros speaks also a weird language, but a weird language speaks Duros, and says, "Oh man, I knew we shouldn't have opened the door. I mean, it's not your guys' fault. You're trying to help, but this is why we've been so reluctant to let anyone in."
I'm afraid I can't help you pick him up. These arms only bend a certain way. But I can open doors for you if you guide us towards the medical bay.
Thank you. Thank you, TC. I help one of the bystanders hoist Gunky up on his feet and start. And at this point, I'm just glad that they instinctively knew I was not in on that shot. I was not tailing anyone to take that shot. It flew right by my ear. Well, we muscle him down the hallway, and blood's just dripping down the floor and all over my nice diplomat robes.
Gunky's a big Aqualish and can take a shot, but did take one and is reeling from the wound. You do make it to a medical bay, which looks like it's half droid repair and half for biological beings, and they lay Gunky down on a bed, and a droid moves in to start kind of assessing the damage.
Whew. I back away and turn my attention to all the blood on my clothing now, and look around. I mean, is Gunky he's obviously not the one I'm going to be talking to next. Does anyone else step up and sort of assume authority on behalf of the ship?
The Duros that helped you bring Gunky into the ship introduces themselves as Sinarm. Yeah, Gunky will probably make it. I mean, but we got other things to worry about. We got a whole ship here. We need to communicate a message to the clones, and we need to make them believe that we're not a threat here.
In defense of the clones, you did take hostages. Can we discuss that first? May I see the hostages? I was told that they're...
Yeah, they're not hostages. You've been looking at them. Just look around. Everybody here wants to be here. Some of us are separatists, but some of these people, they just want off of this planet. You know all those people protesting out there? These are those people. They're trying to get away from this new political regime we're in.
But why would anybody want to get away?
TC unit, I'm a mechanic. Are you damaged? Are you in need of repair?
I have recently been repaired.
Have you been outside lately? Have you walked around and around the people of Coruscant?
Yes, and at one point in my long existence, I worked on a Trade Federation ship, and I worked with the Trade Federation. I know the atrocities that the Trade Federation has enacted throughout the galaxy.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I work on this ship. I've worked on this ship for a while, and I've worked on droids, and personally, I think I could probably program you to say that if I wanted to. It's kind of, you're useful. It's just a little hard for me to... Is your opinion your own, my friend, TC unit?
Are you trying to tell me that I am not in control of my own thoughts?
I've got a lot of respect for droids, more than most in this galaxy, but I can tell that something happened to you, buddy.
I am my own droid. I have been fitted with an escape circuit. I have not had a restraining bolt on my person in 6 months.
The Duros kind of inspects TC a little bit more deeply and says, wow, escape circuit, huh? Okay, so you're not just a regular TC unit. So maybe,
Do you see the metal? He points to the shiny gold C-3PO head on his chest. I am not your ordinary TC unit.
Huh. What is that? Is that magnetic?
Yes.
Meanwhile, I can't understand what the Duros is saying, so I'm just kind of silently following this exchange and only hearing TC's side of the argument. And
no, you're not, because TC's saying it and it sounds like...
Oh, so TC's now speaking back to him in the Duros language. I don't even get the benefit of following along on the basic half of the conversation.
No, but what would you be doing then?
Twiddling my thumbs, apparently. I'm keeping an eye on your discussion in case it seems like it's getting antagonizing, and I poke my head out of the med bay and look around, and, obviously my mission is still to defuse the situation, but yeah, I turn back to the Duros and say, you realize that they're not going to let you take off, regardless. The best chance you have at this moment is to stand down.
And the Duros kind of lowers his head and looks a bit defeated, looking down at Gunky, while Gunky is doing all right, but being treated by a medical droid. And as that happens, your comm is buzzed.
Oh, it's in my collar. I click my little collar comm and say, yes, this is Ambassador Smyysk.
Executive Officer Pinnell reporting in. How are the negotiations going? Have you diffused the situation? Are the hostiles at your whim? And shall we send in the clones, as they say?
Yes. No. The situation is not diffused. One of your clones took a shot at the main negotiator for the ship, which was maybe not the best opening move in a negotiations, and I'm still working on it, Pinnell. Already I'm taking a dislike to Officer Pinnell. He's hurrying me.
They do call them hostiles for a reason, Junior Ambassador. Now, how much longer can I tell these clones to wait before they enter by force? And I do so worry about the safety of those hostages if they do so.
There don't appear to be hostages in the traditional sense, as in anyone held here against their will. At least I haven't seen any yet.
All right, I'm going to flip a point for that.
Comms are not Star Wars comms are always on speakerphone.
I was going to say, they can hear my conversation, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's when it's one of those really awkward speakerphone conversations when you're trying to shut the other person up at the end of the line without letting them in on the fact that people can overhear them talking. So I just start clearing my throat a lot. Say, I'll update you with any information. Okay, bye-bye. And I hang up. And I wish he would really stop referring to me as Junior Ambassador. It's Ambassador Smyysk.
Well, you've already told them that there are no hostages on the ship.
Did I say that? Crud.
That's what my flip was for, I guess.
Are you telling me I am not in control over my own thoughts?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. You're obviously a very well-programmed droid. I'm assuming lots of experiences, but what you think is going on in Coruscant is a little misguided.
You say you have... TC loses his words for a second, which isn't common. You say you respect droids, yet you think my opinion is not valid. Am I not allowed to have my own opinion?
You're allowed to have your own opinion, and you clearly have that. And I think that you are a droid with an open mind. So let me try and open it for you. Let me share some information and do me the favor of listening to our current situation, our relationship with this planet, with this new regime, and with the current clone oppression that we're all under. And maybe after you listen, I'll always respect your opinion as a droid, but I'm hoping I can change it.
I'm listening.
TC, you're translating for my benefit now, right?
Oh, my mistake. I have been speaking Duros this entire time.
Yes, you
Yes, I will translate from here on out.
Thanks so much.
And the Duros explains to you that the ship crashed 2 days ago. The previous day, the rioting in Coruscant in downtown got the most violent and extreme. As you look around during this conversation, you can see that some of the refugees on this ship are carrying weapons. One of them is actually carrying a clone heavy blaster rifle. The Duros explains that most of the current crew, what remains of them, are second in command mechanics, and a lot of them just want to stop fighting and they just want to leave and not be killed or become prisoners from the Empire, what is going to become an empire.
So we're in the med bay right now. Are there other injured besides Gunky?
Yeah, the med bay has many beds, and it looks like a few of them are full. And as this Duros, their name being Sunarm, you see some wounded humans. Some of them are, and a Soliston, and they are actually both in clothes that you're used to seeing around Coruscant. This Duros, Sunarm, makes a final ask to you. It says, is there anything that you can do to help us get this ship off planet safely? I mean, this might be a big ask. They've pretty much got a blockade around the whole planet at this point. Is that not the right solution to this problem? Is there something else we can do?
I'm speaking frankly at this point. I don't have the authority to grant you permission to leave this planet. They're not going to simply let you fly away now. And even if I could get them to let you off-world, there's a security force around the planet that can just blast you out of space as soon as you leave. And at this point, I'm still, trying to fulfill my personal obligation that I feel as like a diplomat by saying, well, you still have trying to reassure fruitlessly and misguidedly that you still have a Senate, you still have representation, trying to convince the Duros to stick it out. But at the same time, obviously I'm not even very sure of my position at the moment, but I don't say that.
No, I think it's good. I think the Duros just nods and says, like, yeah, that's how we feel right now. I mean, we know all of the risks. We know what we're doing here, and we know what most likely is going to be the outcome here. If only there was just some way we could just find a solution.
Yeah, TC is gonna break off from this conversation and look around. Try and see if there are any droids around, and see if there are any people that, not necessarily that he would recognize, but he would recognize that they look like they probably are Coruscanti.
Yeah.
I tag along because he's my translator. I don't want to stray too far from my translator.
You both leave the med bay. The Doros stays and continues to look down at Gunky. As the two of you leave with TC-44 in the lead, you turn into a hallway and a battle droid walks down the hall. And I want TC-44 to do a fear check.
Make me do a fear check? Okay.
What do you think about that?
I'll do it. So it's like one of those like half round doors open up and a battle droid walks out of it?
Yes. And this fear check, this is more fear of memory than fear of the like what's happening. Let's make it 2 purple.
Okay, 2 purples. We got a lot of light side points.
You do have a lot.
1 success, 1 advantage, 1 triumph.
There you go.
You there, droid.
Huh?
Please come here.
Roger.
How far can I go with this triumph?
I guess you have to tell me how far you go.
Droid, what is your designation?
Defender. Protector.
Do you have a name or number?
Number 685711113. Reporting, Roger.
B168571113. May I look at your memories?
How do you convince this B1 droid to offer
With my triumph.
Yeah, I get that. but what else?
B168571113. I am a representative of the Empire, and I need to prove something to myself. From one droid to another, may I look at your memories?
Empire, huh? Well, yeah, why not?
Please, turn around.
And the droid turns around and lets its arms and weapon rest at its side.
A little hatch comes out on TC's arm, and a little droid interface pops out. It's sort of like R2-D2's thing, but not quite. And he locates the interface point on the B1 battle droid, plugs in. Do you need me to do a check?
Is my droid having like a personal crisis here?
TC-44 is constantly having a personal crisis.
I understand that then. I get it. We cool.
You don't have to flip because you got a triumph.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you trying to do here?
Because I got a triumph. I would like to see what this droid has. So he has in the past gone back through his memories and accessed things. He is now not sure which of those... I mean, he knew at the time that those memories were real and that those were his own past memories that were wiped. He wants... I guess he wants to see the mind of another droid to see if there might be something that he is missing, some doors that he can't see in his brain, some clogs, some brain clouds, things that are getting in the way of his true perception. Because even though that Duros is a separatist and he shouldn't be believed, why shouldn't he be believed?
Right.
He's wondering if there's some programming getting in the way of his actual being a free droid.
Mm-hmm. So are you looking for like programming data? Or are you looking for like memories and experiences from this droid?
Programming and data, but if he finds memories and experiences, that's a bonus.
Okay. Why don't you should do a roll to see what you get. Yeah. Give me a computers check.
Okay. How difficult?
And let's make it 2 purple. And let's add a black because this hardware it's encrypted.
So with my interface, the actual description of it is, not only does this device let you access hidden information stored in a droid's memory banks, but it also allows, when attempting to access information that a hostile droid does not wish to reveal, to upgrade the ability of computer's checks. Does this count as a hostile droid? Is he trying to not reveal things?
I think that the programming is written to not be revealed.
Okay, so I'm going to use that thing then. Just hold still. I got 1 success and 1 threat.
Okay.
Okay, you succeeded in finding some programming, finding some protocols, some information about what a separatist droid thinks and feels and sees, and what their general outlook is on the world. You can tell me more.
If there's anything specifically encounters with clones, that's what he would be looking for.
Yeah. You find a couple holo files that you are combing through. The first holo file is this droid's first memory, and the memory is I think that it's, a half an hour long. You are able to watch through and see this information almost instantly, but this droid comes to life. It steps onto a rocky ground. It engages in fire, shooting its blaster against a wall of other blasters, watching other droids getting deactivated, shot, fall into the ground beside it.
The sandy red earth and the lit lightsabers.
That's right.
In what looks like a stony arena.
That's right. The memory cuts off at a certain point. It's unclear of what happened, but you see some information about damage taken and repair done. The next memory is aboard a ship. It's this ship. You see a triangular shaped cruiser that you know to be a clone cruiser, and it's oppressively blasting the side of the hull of this ship, and you are able to just quickly scrub through this video to the impact that happens on Coruscant. You see buildings collapsing around this ship and explosions in this residential area. I'm flipping a dark, and there's an explosion muffled on the exterior of the ship, and the ship rocks for a moment in its place. You hear noises outside of the ship. The clones are probably...
I spin around with my fists raised. Already in a boxing stance. It's just instinctive.
Far off down a hallway, you hear a fizzing, buzzing sound. Something's going on down there.
The explosion has just happened. Does anyone speak basic in the vicinity? There's some Coruscant people. I don't want this. That sounds so mean. But is there someone who can help me with?
No, there is. There's a human, and she is the one that's been holding this heavy clone blaster rifle. And she looks around at the sound of that explosion and says, "Do you hear that? They must have finally... They're trying to get in. I don't know what we're going to do."
Oh man, this is because I hung up on Pinnell. Is there any way to get like a visual on the outside of the ship? See what's going on? First of all, I am outraged because I'm an ambassador. Junior ambassador or not, I'm still an ambassador. If they're firing on this ship, they are firing on a representative of Trandosha.
Yeah, I'm sure
Outraged.
I'm sure they're not going to shoot you.
They blew the ship up.
I don't know. I've been around this planet for a while. I work in acquisitions and distribution, or I used to, and they're not going to blow this ship up. It's too valuable. They're going to blow us up from the inside.
How can they do that?
They're going to board, and they're going to get rid of us.
Okay. Well, what are you doing, TC, at this moment? Are you still chatting? Have you disengaged?
TC retracts his interface and goes, "Interesting. What was that noise?"
Great. He's politely inquiring as to the giant explosion that just rocked the ship. I activate my comlink and call Pinnell and very diplomatically say, "What the crap is going on? What was that explosion?"
Junior Ambassador.
Stop calling me Junior.
Officer Pinnell here. We've decided, well, the clones, sure, that this situation is just an endanger to the city at large, and this symbol cannot be continued to exist within Coruscant and must be taken care of. We've decided to begin to send in the garrison. I'd suggest that you make your presence as Junior Ambassador prominently known, as things could escalate.
So you're just gonna come in and just wipe everybody out?
Well, you did say that the hostages were not hostages, more like hostiles. Is that correct?
I was trying to get you to cut them some slack. I'm a hostage? I'm on here! Your guys are gonna end up shooting me no matter what I say.
They've been briefed. They will do their best to bring you home safely. Trust in the new regime. And if there's nothing else,
am I keeping you?
this is a turbulent time.
I sort of end the call very, very dissatisfied and sort of jab it shut. Say, what's like the Star Wars way of saying we're screwed? Because I do feel bad for. I mean, we've spent enough time on this ship at this. What did you say? We're carked.
Crift or carked.
Crift or carked. But I say it in an old Trandoshan saying that's very foul for Trandoshans.
Yeah, the last thing you hear before you hang up is Pinnell says something like, "What was that?"
He's offended.
TC approaches Smyysk and says, "Mistress Smyysk, I believe we should head to the command deck so that we can see the exterior of the ship. That way we can assess exactly what is going on. I have some internal repairs to do. I may be out of commission for a short while."
That's not something you could have taken care of before you came on the ship with me?
I was not aware of my defects prior to boarding this ship.
Can it wait?
Our friend Sunarm made me aware of potential mistakes in my code that I must correct.
Do you have to correct it
all.
right now?
I believe so.
Where do emergencies fall in your programming tier?
I will be much more useful to this emergency once errors have been corrected.
At this point, TC hasn't really been enough of my co-pilot in this scenario for me to actually care that much that he's just gonna go off and do his thing.
Follow me.
Bye. Hope you feel better.
Were you not looking for a vantage point? I am going to the command deck.
I trundle along behind him. He's leading the way.
Internally, he's got the schematics pulled up from that data pad so that he knows where he's going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're heading off towards the bow of the ship, which is where the command cockpit is.
Yeah, is it in the big circle? The big sphere in the center?
It is in the big circle. So you actually have to, you end up traveling up a little bit and then back towards where you entered. And as you're making your way there, you hear blaster fire within the ship.
Oh dear. Well, it would appear that this ship is no longer space-worthy.
Oh, we were screwed. Okay, at this point, we're gonna need to find another way to get off the ship, which would be really helpful to know how the ship is positioned at this moment. Did we establish whether it's like wedged in somewhere or like on top of something? A surface connection with another building or something like that. Something with an exterior wall would be helpful.
Maybe we can get a view from the command deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
I scoot along to the command deck. I beat him there, actually. He doesn't lead the way. I beat him there, even without the segue.
As you are just about to approach the command deck, I'd flipped a dark side point, and someone's cutting in to the ship. and they are right above you.
Okay.
The orange hiss of a fusion cutter cutting just above your head.
Mark, I want that fusion cutter.
So we're in this.
Yes.
You want the fusion cutter?
I'm announcing my intentions. I don't know if that's how this works.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. To find out more about us and our projects, visit nightcastcreative.com. Thanks to Doug and Nikki for joining in this episode. Check the show notes for links to their websites where you can check out their amazing art. And last but not least, don't forget about Donate for Destiny. Influence our Destiny pool and make a difference in children's lives. Check out nightcastcreative.com/destiny for more info and a link to donate.